Hey everyone, welcome to there's a look at some really cool artists.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about William Scott
Yes.
and SLART,
Yes. Two very different artists.
and looking for some inspiration for all of us.
Right.
I think that's something that all of us need,
Absolutely.
no matter what level we are at in art.
Yeah, and we're going to see how even artists that are at the top of their game
Right.
still are looking for inspiration and finding it in really unexpected places.
Yeah, so William Scott
Yes.
is a San Francisco-based artist,
He is.
and he's got this really neat concept
Yeah.
called Praise Frisco.
Yes.
Mhm.
Praise Frisco. It's not just San Francisco, it's like a vision of San Francisco.
Yeah, so it's like a utopian vision.
Yeah, a utopia. Yeah, a peaceful haven.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we all kind of dream about a little bit.
Especially if you live in San Francisco.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a universal desire to want to live in a place that's safe and, peaceful and joyful.
Right. And it's interesting, too, because, William Scott works at Creative Growth Art Center,
Yes,
which is a space for artists with developmental disabilities.
that's right.
But his work has also been shown at SFMOMA and the MoMA,
That's right.
the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
Yeah, so I mean, his work really transcends any kind of label that you might want to put on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Praise Frisco? What is it?
So what we know about Praise Frisco is that it is, like I said, sort of like a reimagined San Francisco.
Okay.
You see a lot of the landmarks that you would see in San Francisco, but they're transformed, like the Golden Gate Bridge, for example.
Okay.
He uses a lot of really vibrant colors
Okay.
and integrates text into the art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you'll see like phrases like "Reinvent the Past"
Oh, that's cool.
or, "Another Life" and things like that.
Wow.
And then there are these recurring characters that populate these pieces. So there's like a preacher, there's a woman with a boombox.
Oh, cool.
And they really seem to be like symbols of this like shared human experience.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like he's making a statement
He is.
about community and unity and that kind of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like hope and optimism
Right.
for the future.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because a lot of the inspiration he draws on comes from pop culture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he loves pop culture icons.
Uh-huh.
He also integrates elements of Jamaican and Bahamian dance culture into his art.
Oh, wow.
And he uses photos of church members as inspiration for figures in his work.
Okay, so he's getting inspiration from all these different areas.
Yeah, he's not afraid to mix it up
Right.
and pull from different sources.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we can all learn from is,
Absolutely.
don't be afraid to get inspiration from wherever you can find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that we see with both William Scott and SLART is that they're not afraid to just take inspiration from everywhere.
Yeah. And that's what makes it interesting.
Right.
It's kind of a melting pot of ideas and visuals.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes art so powerful is that it can bring together all these different elements
Right.
into something new and unique.
Yeah. So it's not just about technical skill. It's
Right.
about having this vision and this
Yeah.
creativity.
It's about expressing yourself
Yeah.
and your unique perspective on the world.
Right. And speaking of unique perspectives, I know that we have a clip of William Scott
Yeah.
talking about Praise Frisco.
Let's hear it.
So let's take a listen to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we were talking about the text in the paintings.
Yeah.
So we were just looking at some of the pieces from Praise Frisco, and I noticed
Yeah.
how often he uses text.
Oh, yeah.
Like he'll have these phrases
Right.
like "reinvent the past" or "another life."
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how he integrates that into the cityscapes.
I like that. It's almost like he's giving us little clues
Yeah.
to try to decipher his vision.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It is.
So,
And it makes you think about how, we can use different forms of communication to express our ideas.
Right.
Like it doesn't have to just be visual. It
Right.
can be textual.
right. And I think that's something that a lot of artists do is they try to find different ways
Yeah.
to, express themselves.
Yeah, like SLART uses his titles
Uh-huh.
to great effect.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
Time, The Great Equalizer. Like
Yeah.
that tells you something
It does.
about what he's trying to
Yeah.
explore in his work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good point.
So it's not just about the visuals.
Right.
It's about all the elements
Yeah.
that go into creating a piece of art.
Yeah. So, with the Praise Frisco, you were saying how he reimagines these landmarks,
Yeah.
like the Golden Gate Bridge
Yeah, so he takes these like really well-known iconic landmarks of San Francisco and he transforms them. Like he'll add his own little whimsical touches.
Okay.
But it's not just about showcasing the beauty of San Francisco.
Right.
It's about envisioning a city that's even better.
Oh, wow. So it's like taking what's already there and making it better?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like a more vibrant, more connected.
Right. It sounds like he's really putting a lot of thought into this.
He is. It's not just like random, images.
Yeah.
He's really thinking about
what he wants to convey.
Yeah, what message he wants to get across.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about the people that he features in his work? Are they like idealized figures or are they...
That's a good question. I would say that they are stylized, but they feel very real.
Okay.
And he draws inspiration from people he knows, like church members, community figures.
And he really celebrates their individuality.
Okay.
So you see people of different ages, backgrounds, abilities, all coexisting peacefully.
Wow.
In this utopian city.
So he's not shying away from the realities of life. He's actually embracing them.
Exactly.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to, his experience at Creative Growth.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, because, that's a space that embraces neurodiversity.
Yeah.
And, champions the voices of people who might not otherwise be heard.
Exactly.
So I think that's really cool that, he's bringing that perspective.
Absolutely.
To his work.
Yeah, I think Creative Growth has played a huge role in his development as an artist.
Right.
It's provided him with a supportive community, resources, a platform to share his vision with the world. And I think it's just a testament to the power of inclusive spaces to nurture creativity and empower individuals. Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes me think about how, SLART talks about embracing his individuality in his art practice.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to be himself.
No.
Even if it's a little bit out there.
Crypt cruising in cool Crocs.
Yeah, exactly. But he's comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important.
Right.
Is that, you find your own way of expressing yourself.
There's no one right way to be an artist.
Right.
And, whether you're meticulously detailed like William Scott or, more freely expressive like SLART, what matters is that you're finding your own voice.
Right.
And letting it shine through.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message for anyone who's listening, who's, thinking about getting into art or...
Absolutely.
Maybe they've been doing it for a while and they're just feeling a little stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all learn from these artists that it's okay to be yourself. And it's okay to experiment and, try new things and just have fun with it.
And not be afraid to fail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's how you learn and grow.
Right.
As an artist.
Yeah. So I think, we've talked a lot about the positive aspects of William Scott's work, but I think it's also important to acknowledge the challenges that he's faced in his life.
Absolutely.
Navigating the world with developmental disabilities.
Right.
That's not easy.
It's not.
And so I think, for him to be able to create this, beautiful vision of a better world. Yeah. It's really inspiring. It shows that, no matter what obstacles you face, you can still achieve great things.
Absolutely.
And that art can be a really powerful tool for overcoming adversity and finding strength.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to move beyond the surface. And really explore that aspect of William Scott's work.
I like it.
And SLART's work as well. Because I think there's a lot to learn from their resilience.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into that. We were talking about how William Scott's art, kind of transcends limitations.
Right.
But I think it's really important to talk about the challenges that he's had to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
In his life, navigating the world with developmental disabilities.
Yeah. And I think, it's in those challenges that we often discover our greatest strengths.
Yeah.
And I think for him, art has become more than just a form of expression. It's a means of empowerment.
Yeah. It's like a way to kind of communicate his vision.
His unique vision.
Yeah.
And to reshape his reality.
It makes that Praise Frisco concept all the more powerful.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's not just imagining it.
Right.
He's actually creating it.
He's actively creating it through his art.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the transformative power of art.
Right.
The ability to find beauty and hope even in the face of adversity.
And we see that with SLART, too.
Absolutely.
You know, he's battling chronic kidney disease.
He's not shying away from it at all.
Right.
He's incorporating it into his work.
You mentioned his painting Bloodlines.
Yeah.
You know, where he depicts himself hooked up to the dialysis machine.
That's right.
And, you know, it's a stark image.
Uh-huh.
But there's also this sense of strength.
Yeah, like almost like he's saying, you know, this is a part of me,
right?
But it doesn't define me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna let this, you know, hold me back. I'm gonna use this as fuel for my art.
And that's, I think, a message that a lot of people need to hear.
Absolutely.
You know, that you don't have to pretend that everything's perfect.
Right.
You can use art
to express the full spectrum of human experience.
Yeah.
The joys and the sorrows.
Right.
The triumphs and the struggles.
Yeah. And in doing so, you're connecting with other people who might be going through similar things.
Art has this incredible power to build bridges.
Yeah.
To create empathy.
Yeah.
To foster a sense of community.
And I think that's where William Scott and SLART, you know, despite their stylistic differences, they both kind of come together in that sense of community.
They both tap into that power of art to connect, to inspire, to challenge us, to see the world differently.
And they remind us that, you know, art is not just...
It's not just for the elite.
Right.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental human impulse to create, to express ourselves, to share our stories.
Yeah. So whether you're meticulously planning out your... praise Frisco, or, you know, embracing the spontaneity of crypt cruising in cool Crocs.
Oh, exactly.
You know, what matters is finding your own way.
Yeah. Find your voice. Yeah. Find your style.
And, you know, if you're feeling inspired by William Scott's story, by his vision,
pick up a paintbrush, a pencil.
Whatever medium speaks to you.
Yeah.
And just start creating.
Exactly.
Because there are no limits to what you can achieve.
When you tap into that creative energy.
Yeah.
When you allow yourself to explore the world through the lens of art.
That's a great point. And maybe you'll even create your own praise space.
Your own utopia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
I agree.
We've had a wonderful time exploring the work of William Scott and SLART.
We have.
And we hope that you've been inspired to maybe go out and create something of your own.
Absolutely.
So thanks for listening.
Thank you.